Welcome, everyone, to episode 361 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Josh Penteleresco. I write stuff in podcast 2 today. Jennifer Cockton joins the podcast. Now, Jennifer, me and her both generally do stuff behind the scenes for the creative community, but we've met a few times, and like in person, we've talked more since, obviously, but we met a couple times at WWC when Words Collide, and last time we got to really talk and do some stuff, and Jennifer's been doing her own interviews for a while now. I was one of her guests on YouTube. You can definitely listen to me if you guys want to do so. But she's interviewed all kinds of other people. Online for Authors is a marketing company for authors trying to get their name out there. She's great. She works really hard at what she does, and like I said, I'll probably be using her myself very shortly. I got a lot of news. May 16th, May 17th are going to be my busiest weekend this year. May 16th, it's not May 1st. The EPUBs are hell. Let me just say this: like, EPUBs are legitimately hell. But we do have an EPUB, and it's done. It's ready to go. We have the books ready. So now, very shortly, this Saturday is going to be the order form for the Cloud Diver. It'll be available literally this weekend, and then 2 weeks later, the book will be released. I'm going to be looking for some ARC readers officially now. So if you guys are interested in reading a copy of the book in advance, give me a shout. Looking for that. I'm going to be also doing some incredible things May 17th. I'll talk about that after I think we get to the interview. So let's get to that conversation first, shall we?
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com.
So, let's do a little. So, we did the test run. The recorder is officially on. So, Jen, I always ask this question when I start a podcast. If you have anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
I don't think self-incriminate, right?
Well, like, we are on the air, and and if you're gonna have fun, like, confess the good stuff. I mean, at the very least, talk about how you clubbed that baby seal or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things in life. See, the one thing about this current circumstance that's actually really interesting is, I think right this second, there is a high demand for content, different kinds of content. And the reason I say that is because people are going to be more and more cooped in. The movie theater, I mean, is really the only real bastion of things, but there's no new movies released after this weekend. So that's become a dead end. So you're looking at the fact that right now there's this influx of content that's going to be in demand because people are being told to stay home. So I said to myself, well, what's the opportunity in front of me? Well, I have a podcast that I interview people with, but I also wanted to launch my book. I'm like, well, you could launch your book. You could just do something and do a project, because right now you have this opportunity that there are these voices out there. There's a lot of people right now that do a lot of incredible things. Well, people are going to pay attention right now, if for no other reason, they're bored.
Yeah, they're not doing anything else.
Exactly. That's an opportunity. That's a real opportunity. So I think right now, if you're smart, as whatever you're doing as an entrepreneur, get people's attention now. Because right now, you got it.
Yeah, I think there's a great opportunity for people to not worry so much about whether or not their event is canceled, but see if there are options to maybe take it to a virtual stage instead. I mean, I know that there are definitely avenues where being in person there's just nothing that tops it, no matter what, right? There's never going to top being in the same room with a human being. But at the same time, it doesn't mean the world needs to stop.
Or it won't stop, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
And still the world won't stop. So, okay, so what can you do? So, there's what I did. It's like, well, you can't do a whole audiobook in one day. That's a really bizarre form of suicide. It would be, but you can do 20 minutes. right? I think right. You do
You'd be
20.
stopping to catch your yawns and edit your yawns out of your reading material.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I like a certain realness to it, right? So it wakes people up. So, did you like my choice of elevator music?
I did. It's a little louder than your voice, I'll tell you that. But it's perfect to segue into what was going on. I've had the privilege of reading your book, and I've been waiting since January. To touch base with you again with regards to your book and see just exactly when we're going to have a publication date. But the audio space is huge, and I listen to audio every day.
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to the interviews I do with authors, I take in at least one nonfiction book a day, and then, as you know, I read a lot of fiction. So, but audio is fantastic, and you're doing it with your own voice, which I find very interesting. And you're doing it like indie style.
Have to. It's guerrilla warfare time right now, right? Right. So you have to. Again, this is one of those situations that I think. This is the other good thing about this situation, is whenever there's a crisis, whenever there's a unexpected way of things, like a change of how things are done, right? When there's a change, well, now you have this moment in time where, how do I put this? You have this moment in time where you have to find new ways of doing things, and then suddenly you're looking inside yourself, it's like, well, what am I capable of, right? What am I capable of? And I'm like, well, you can launch this, you can advertise yourself, you can do this right now. How do you do it? And so I came up with a way to actually film this. I taught myself how to actually do this. I cut it all up all myself. I put it back together. I added details and little bits and pieces. And now I'm going to teach myself audio storytelling. Cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
See, now you can turn around and you can teach others how to do it too, which is something I'm going to want to talk to you about as we go forward with our relationship with Online for Authors. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. So teaching yourself new skills, right?
Absolutely, all the time. So the problem's the catalyst, right? And what you do about it, the plan you put in place, and what you do is the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, you can't control life. Life, you can't control it. There's no point in trying to worry about what you can or can't do about a larger in life situation. What you can do is, okay, how do you roll with the punches? And that's it. This is an unexpected thing. Now, I did not have to consider my life choices. I came to Vancouver for completely different reasons. Do I stay here long term? That's another question now, because this is not the time for me to do what I came to do here. But that's a later discussion. But right now, it's like, well, what I'm here. I'm gonna do what I got to do here. So let's do what I gotta do here, and that's what this is. So, like I said,
it's a perfect opportunity to play, Josh. It's and that we all that's really kind of what we're here for, and we miss that a lot. And life is just saying, okay, now this. How are you going to play with it? So it's a great opportunity for you.
Yeah, that's how I'm treating it, and that's how I'm treating it going forward. It's not about anything else. And so, well, you've been going down your own path of interviewing and discovering people, and how's that been for you?
Well, I would very much like to take it to a full-time role, but right now it's a part-time role, and so I'm looking at some of that. So what you're referring to is Online for Authors, and the interviewing and creating content for authors and helping them promote and market their brands.
Yes.
Online, yeah. And so we did the primary way we do that is we take a large piece of content like an interview and we turn it into smaller pieces of content for creating a story and getting attention and developing relationships and ultimately giving readers better material and creating great audiences for authors.
And And why'd you go down this path? You don't mind my asking.
Why? Yeah, it's so my daughter's an author. She's not published. Well, she's a writer. So she actually has been published, but it's not. It was a within school piece of material, so it's not available to the public. So, but she is definitely an avid writer, an avid illustrator, and that is her passion. And as the children get older, sometimes we feel as parents that we don't have as much of a hands-on role in everything that happens to be going on with them. And what happened for us was we were introduced to the When Words Collide event by Neil Enoch, and went and took in that event a couple of years ago, and just loved it, of course, because it's nurturing all of her creative side. And so I thought, okay, I know by listening to some of the presenters and looking at the authors and what they actually have as far as publications and content out there, that what they have online does not accurately represent them. And so, I have skills that can help these authors build a better online presence. So how do I share that with them? So in talking to the organizers of the event, it was agreed that I would speak at an event, and I did that in 2019, and it just evolved from there.
Yeah. So, let's ask a deep and tough question. What's the biggest thing you've learned so far?
Oh my gosh, to embrace what the universe has brought into your world, and to put yourself in a space where you can be open to seeing the opportunity when it arrives. And for me, there was never a no as to whether or not would you speak. Are you going to speak? It's like, okay, this is the topic, this is the content. I might not have it all together and figured out, but yes, definitely. Walk into the room, see how it goes. Maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not. And whatever happens then is next, right? Just go with what happens next. And that's, for me, that was what walking into the room that day was all about. It's a definite yes, I'm here. If it bombs, it bombs. If it doesn't, great. If I was able to give some valuable content to someone, even one person, then that was worth it. So I really did just let the universe take me by the hand and say, okay, this is where you're going to play.
Ah. So you love it?
I love it. And yeah, I actually find doing anything else, I have a hard time doing anything else because I love it so much. But I do, at this point, still need to, until like I've got, 10 or 12 authors a month.
But you got a goal.
Want to come and play with me. So.
But you got a goal, right? And that's good. Like, you know what your client base is. Like, so, in light of everything happening, one of my other plans now is, since I'm building an audiobook, obviously I'm creating a product for myself in the long run, like a guerrilla style audio product. So I'm going to be launching that officially in some form or fashion down the road when there's more pieces obviously made, when I get to the point where it's at I think my whole audiobook, I'm looking at probably about 4 hours of altogether like filmed content. And so 4-hour audiobooks are going to take me approximately like 10-12 weeks to do, right? Properly. So when I get to like 7 or 8 episodes, I got to create that, and then that's I have a flat goal, which is the important thing what I'm getting at. So for you, is it going to be 10-12, or do you feel like as you get more stylish, you're going to want to be more intimate with the relationships with your authors? Well,
see, that's where we're at right now. Like, it goes all the way from maybe just doing an interview with an author to help them with their book that's launching, so that they can build some awareness online. If we take that interview and we build it out into different pieces of content, that's a different relationship. If we create an annual author profile on the website and and market the author every month for 12 months in various different ways on our platforms and in our newsletter and on YouTube and SoundCloud is what we're using right now for audio and visual. Then again, that's all a different relationship, but there are authors that you need help with creating a newsletter, or they need help with their website, or they need help with other things, and that's where the relationship does get deeper and more intimate. And then you can't take on as many people individually to work with, but we can grow, and I can teach, and so I'd love to see it absolutely explode.
Okay, so the most common thing you do is interviews. So what's everything else you do or can do?
Oh my gosh, that's where we both build social platforms.
Yes.
It's not uncommon for me to build out a Facebook page for a book launch. We support book events. So if you're doing signings or tours or launches or any of that, we support those by sharing them on our platforms as well. Helping with website edits, I tend to stay away from the website building because the websites I like to build are very simple, and I don't think they actually need to be that complicated. But most authors come with somewhat of a website already built, and many are very, very stuck in their way of wanting to stay with the website that they have. So again, how can I add value for the least, not only amount of cost, but the least amount of time, right?
Yes.
And then, so it really depends on the author. I have helped with creating a client relationship management system where we imported email addresses and exported to a newsletter to do a book launch promotion. Helped with uploads of books to Amazon, and helped to create bestseller campaigns and connect them with graphic artists. And there's done workshops where, not myself, but supported workshops where authors have given tips on how to publish and promote a bestseller and all sorts of things. So the list is really very wide depending on what an author needs.
Okay. So you sound like you're one part marketer, one part virtual assistant. Is that accurate?
Well, a virtual assistant seems like a very very generic term in the sense because I wouldn't suggest me personally. I'm not going to book appointments for you. I'm not going to manage your calendar. I'll show you how. I'll teach you how. And I'll sell you the systems to do it because those I know the ones that are really great for what you need to do, and help you create content online and actually more of the storytelling and marketing and distribution of content than the actual VA. But it's the tools are there, the skills are there if that's what's needed.
Okay, no, I'm just asking so you can illustrate the difference. So you're more
sure,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So basically, you're coming in. You look at, say, an author's presentation skills, what they bring to the table. Figure out a way to accentuate those skills in a way that's actually conducive for them to make more money. And you're kind of, I'm not saying a coach or an assistant, but you're almost like man, I don't know what the exact word is. You're almost like a coach. Almost. It's like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you attack this. Is that accurate?
Well, too, and if for some reason, because we want writers writing, authors, we want you writing. We don't necessarily want you in the tasks of doing these things. You can hire online for authors to do it for you. Mm-hmm. So the big overseeing premise behind online for authors is actually to help the author learn how to get out from behind their book enough so that they're engaging their readers and attracting more of them.
Fair enough. So, I guess the question then becomes, I guess the question then becomes, once that's done, is it like, do you stick with a client, or do you move on? Do you go until you're needed? Is there? I guess what I'm asking is there an end to your services, and what are your goals going forward?
So I don't see an end to it, to be honest. With the relationship with an author, I'd like to see it continue. I can tell you that with fiction authors, there's many times where there's one book, but that book turns into a series of books, and then it turns into another series or a different series. There are authors that create how-to books that then end up on speaking tours, and need their social media managed, or they need their website managed or their events promoted, or what have you. So I would like to see definitely relationships continue. I'm not really interested in the service every author type of a business. I'm more interested in the very, we promote authors we like, we love them, and there is an intimacy that gets developed with regards to that relationship, and it continues for quite a long time.
So in that sense, you're very much like an agent. So, okay, then let's ask the fun one. What do you look for in an author?
What do I look for in an author?
Yeah.
Passion. Okay, so let's use you as an example. Okay. I recently read your Cloud Diver book because it was one of those things. I read the author's material before we do the interview, right? So we did our interview in January.
Yes.
In an author, we're looking for somebody who's clear about their story, clear about their, and I would say genre, but at the same time, we can have authors we do have authors that are multi-genre writers, but at the same time, they're dedicated to the community that they're in and the skill of bringing beautiful literature to readers. So in the sense of what you've got coming out, I have to say it's not like anything I've ever read before, and it definitely is very engaging. You took me on an amazing journey. I fully escaped. Okay, so in that, you've definitely put a lot of work and attention and time and detail into what you're doing. So I don't see you as being the type of author that's just in this book writing to make a buck.
No, I love what I do.
Right. So I can understand authors that are putting books out there to help their business. But what is their business? So it's really right down to the core of relationship building and community building, which you've definitely done. Even before Online for Authors started, Joshua, I was aware of you and your contribution to the community. Maybe we actually even met at a fellow author's barbecue.
Yes.
Like a mutual friend. So, it is more to the nature of the individual, more so than what they're writing or how they write or what they've chosen as their, whether fiction, nonfiction, how-to book, biography, memoir, whatever that might be. It's the heart of the author that we're looking for. And right away when you meet someone, whether or not that's that. I've turned away authors, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, you have to. I mean, we can't. None of us can serve everybody, right? And if you're just looking for me to interview you, so you can add me to your interview list. There are people out there for that. That's not me. Yeah.
Right, so there's that kind of thing, and you may be the greatest author. You may have lots of awards behind your name. You may be an international bestseller multiple times over. But at the same time, if what you're looking for is just a knockoff interview, we're not it. No.
You want to do more. You want to establish more, and you want to become more. And that's and it's like I said, you're building a platform, and it's not for everybody, and it's never for like nothing. Nobody has nobody can like I look at like agents, and I look at like other people that help the author community, and what I find is like at some point you have to know when to draw your lines, like when to say no, when to say I can't work with this person, and sometimes and honestly it's not necessarily a bad thing either. Sometimes you're just not a good fit for somebody. You just aren't, and it's not a good or a bad thing. It's just is, right. And I think one of the healthiest things you can do as a writer, actually as a person, is recognize when those relationships are there and when to cut the cord.
Yeah, well, and knowing when there's the fit. Like it's still okay for me, for example, to have maybe a strategic partnership or a joint venture with someone who may not necessarily write a book or may not necessarily be an author themselves, but they have tools, for example, that would be a fit for a large group of authors. Because one editor does not work for all authors. I mean, you need a variety. You need to be able to build a team as a writer and to get published. Those relationships, they're key. And if you have to have the right fit, they absolutely help determine whether or not you're successful.
Yes. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, right? And you just learn where your relationships are and who will ultimately help you one way or the other, and that's a very important part of the business too. It's not often done. So let's have some fun here. What has been your favorite assignment so far, if you can talk about it? You don't have to mention names, but probably one where you've seen the most results. Like you're like, all right, I really helped somebody.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm in the midst of it, so I can say a little bit about it, but all the results aren't in yet.
It's okay. It's okay. Just talk. I mean, again, don't have to name names. You probably shouldn't, but you can explain a little bit what you're doing right now, and go from there.
Yeah. So it's being available for writers' meetings that they may or may not be attending and helping promoting them, as well as creating client relationship management systems so that there is a list of maybe who's bought the book in the past, and we can set up newsletters and let readers know that there's a book launch coming or whatever the updates for the month might be. So there's that, and then updating the website with new interviews and new book covers, because new books in the series are coming out and a new series is coming out. So the web edits there. What else can I say? There's creating, doing the interviews and then creating the content and building out the social platforms. So whether you have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever, YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever your platforms happen to be, we populate content on them. If you've had interviews, the interviews go out on social media channels.
So how is TikTok? I've been meaning to ask about that one for a while. I haven't done that one yet.
So TikTok is like the 15 to 60 second video that goes out, and that's all it is. The platform is that, and there's different ways to create video. They've got different app integrations that they, you can zoom in, zoom out, change voices, add music. It used to be Musical.ly. And so, but now it's over, I think it may be close to a $3 billion platform.
Wow. Well, it's jumped. Like you're looking at social media, like text only is useful, but I mean, like Facebook has unfortunately taken all the fun out of their platform, like completely. So people are looking for ways to share stuff without actually, wanting to, be advertised to death. That's why Instagram's such a cool tool. I love Instagram. Because they pay. Hey, I'm doing something stupid. Here's a picture. That's awesome. Like, that can be a lot of fun. But so I was curious what TikTok is. I'll have to play with it at some point just to get the hang of it.
You have to play with it. The best thing for me with regards to TikTok is I don't get involved in the challenges so much that are out there, because there are a lot of them, and it is again hashtag based a platform, so you definitely want to include a hashtag in anything you post. And I repurpose the content I create on TikTok on all other platforms. So that the biggest tool for me is to be able to take a 15-second to 60-second video clip, have it download on my phone, and then be able to put it everywhere else I want to.
So one day maybe we can do a TikTok of me and you doing some kind of weird battle rap maybe When Worlds Collide when I show up there again this year, because When Worlds Collide I do feel we'll be there this year. And it will be there.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we did terrible battle rap. If I win Aurora this year, I have to dress in a tutu. By the way, it's gonna be fun.
I heard. I'm thinking it needs to be pink, but you said I have to confirm that with someone else.
Pat Flelling. You gotta talk to Pat. And then I too will become a TikTok sensation.
Well, not even so much. I mean, it's just a matter of we have to be your audience is, right? So there is authors of TikTok on TikTok. There's Online for Authors. There's so there's already a network and a community built there.
Yep.
So they'll play in it.
Yeah, exactly. I shall endeavor to have fun.
Yeah.
So Miss Jen, I think we have an interview. What do you think?
I think we do.
Okay. So, and you see, I had you laughing. You told me there's nothing funny. There's lots of funny. See? Yeah. Lots of funny.
I'm not used to being on the other end of an interview, so it's like, oh my gosh, okay, this is my first being interviewed.
Oh, wow.
This is my first.
Your first.
Mine.
Oh, you got interviewed with me, you poor soul. Damn.
Oh, no.
You damn. I'm sorry.
I think it's fantastic, actually.
Yeah. Alright, so let's do this. Tell people who you are, tell people about your platform, and tell people how they can find you. And we'll have an interview.
I still have to do that?
You still have to do that. We're regurgitating. This is the end of the interview. You have to promote yourself. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now?
I'm Jennifer Cockton. I'm the founder of Online for Authors, and what we do is help authors build an online presence, engage their readers, and build a larger audience.
Okay, so how can people find you?
Oh, everywhere. You can find me everywhere. You can find me at Online for Authors on any platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. There's a YouTube channel and a SoundCloud channel, and there's a website, onlineforauthors.org.
There we go. And
that was my conversation with Jennifer Cockton. Check out onlineforauthors.org. Jennifer does great stuff for a lot of clients and authors, and she's definitely someone you should talk to. Jennifer, thank you very, very much for coming on to my show. I appreciate it. Whew, what a weekend. May 16th, the Cloud Diver. Fuck. And that was my conversation with Jennifer Cockton. Jennifer, Online for Authors is a thing. Definitely check her out on our website. If you need an author, need help with marketing, newsletter building, anything like that, she's definitely someone to talk to. Jen, thanks for coming on my show. You're welcome back anytime you want. Man, what a weekend. Do I have in store May 16th, May 17th. May 17th is my first ever Just Joshing live Zoomcast. It's a one-on-one spotlight show featuring the incredibly talented Sophia Evangelina. Sophia is an amazing woman, not just a girl anymore. She's an adult. She's a singer, an actress, super talented individual who's branching off into the unknown in her own business, and we're going to talk about that. It's going to be an amazing 45-minute conversation. It's something I've always wanted to do with people in full, and this is something to show another aspect of what I can do with this show. And for me, that's what I get out of it. But Sophia is an incredible talent, and definitely believe in her. She's got a lot of things on the horizon that are just awesome, and I'm really thrilled to get this opportunity. So thank you, Sophia, for believing in me, and I intend to turn the favor. All right, guys. I'm really excited about everything coming up. So May 16th, May 17th, definitely be paying attention. And like I said earlier, I'm looking for our advanced readers. If you want to, contact me on Twitter, Instagram at jpentaloresco. I'll happily do that. All right. That will do it for this episode of Just Joshing. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so in a number of different ways. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, all platforms. I'm on all of them. Subscribe, share, let people know I'm out there. If you don't like the show, don't tell anybody. I promise I won't hold it against you. YouTube channel is Josh Pantaleresco. If you want to listen to all my past episodes, there are currently 299 episodes in the past. Definitely check them all out. Beyond that, merchandise, jpentaleresco.redbubble.com. I'm really proud of that. Stay tuned for more soon. Outside of that, let's see. Mirror Publishing is right now giving a giveaway on books. So you can definitely take away Watcher, Storm Dance, Wandering God. You can definitely do something with regards to getting a book for free. Read it, same thing. Share it, let people know it's out there. I certainly am happy if you guys check out my books from Mirror Publishing. Twitter, Instagram is at jpentaleresco. My newsletter is available in the link below if you want to subscribe. I'm approaching 3 dozen subscribers. It's not too bad considering I've only done 2 newsletters. So definitely check that out. Yeah, that's it, man. Beyond all that, stay inspired, keep doing your thing. Chase joy, even in this time. All right, guys. Talk to you in a bit.
Josh.